For those of you who were panicking just a little bit yesterday in regards to Sophia Jones, yes, Sophia, they're like, where are you? What's going on? Rick Barry was next to me, and yet people in the chat going, where's Sophia? Panicked. You're alive and well. You're here. How you doing, kid? You good?
I'm good. I guess to ease people's minds, it was just because the Valkyries had a home game yesterday, so it didn't fit in the schedule to have a podcast.
Exactly. And if you follow us, at least the program, and I retweeted on my personal account as well, but if you follow us on Twitter, on Threads, at Golden Days Pod, we published any changes in our schedule and stuff like that. Anyways, V for Valkyries is this week. Is on Tuesday this week, not Monday. We're elated. We're excited. Let's do this. We're also going to talk Warriors because there is some interesting information that went down today. Interesting is a relative term, but I'll leave that to the eye of the beholder in regards to whether you think that's true or not. But it is interesting to me. Symbolizes the endless chaos, the madness that is this Warriors offseason. A lot to talk about. The Valkyries are the positive side of all this because they're kicking some booty. Let's talk about it. It's the Golden Days V for Valkyries edition.
They always find something to nitpick, and that's because there's expectations for us to win. Leave me alone this summer.
Let's go. In a minute, I'ma need a sentimental man or woman to pump me up.
The Oracle from the People League run. Good time. Yeah. Welcome to the Golden Days V for Valkyries edition. Sophia Jones right next to me can be followed on Twitter at Sophia Jones _2. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm glad I have that memorized because normally it's under there. We have a new visual aesthetic with the program. Welcome, everybody. You can follow me, Cyrus Sotzes, on Threads and Instagram, at Dog Wild, over on Twitter. I'm at Surf Journalist. The program, again, on both those platforms at Golden Days Pod, where if you're ever curious about Sophia Jones and where she is, we post updates there. And it's great to have you there today. OMG Manny, a long-time Golden Days. And we're going to be celebrating our one-year anniversary, I believe, late September, early October. And OMG Manny has been there almost from the beginning. Thank you for the support. And Yup in the chat saying, we in 7th, referring to the Golden State Valkyries. And we're going to be talking a lot about them because they got some positive, fun mojo from last night's game, not just because they beat the Suns in a game that I thought was no drama. And that's a good thing if you're a Valkyries fan. But, and I could be wrong with that. I know, Sophia, you thought the first half was a little dramatic, and we'll talk about all that. But they also introduced a new mascot. And mascots are fun. The Warriors haven't had one, to the best of my recollection, since Thunder. And this was a long-ass time ago. But they introduced Violet the Raven. Sophia, great to see you. How was the game last night that put them a game above 500? And describe Violet the Raven. What's the genesis for that? And what was the fan reaction to that? Great to see you.
Great to see you as well. Yeah, just with the game, it was, of course, nice to get the win, especially against the Connecticut Sun, who have the worst record in the WNBA. So it was just needed to handle business game, and the Valkyries did that. Struggling from the three-point line in that first half. Second half, the floodgates opened, and the Valkyries were really able to generate a ton of offense. I think the only drama in the game was when Cecilia Zandalazini got a technical foul, which from our broadcast booth position, she hit a pump fake sidestep three-pointer in Marina Mabry's face. And then when she was already a couple feet away, she just kind of did that. I don't know if there were extra words said afterwards, but I didn't think that just that warranted a technical foul. Chechi is like one of the nicest, happiest, chillest people. So, but yeah, the mascot reveal, it was very, very fun. Last week, Violet and Glittery Egg appeared in Thrive City. And so it was kind of just like a built up anticipation for what was inside the egg. That's how we did a mascot reveal. But I love the mascot. To be honest, I was actually a little bit upset, not upset, but I had to do our halftime show on the Valkyries broadcast, which is
Okay.
when the entire mascot reveal was taking place. So I really like kind of all like the fan reaction and
That's
just like dancing and all that. I didn't get to catch much of it because I was giving halftime report.
Do you do
But
that normally? Are
yes,
you so, and so normally on the Warriors radio side during halftime you have RC Davis, who was my former colleague many years ago at KNBR. Crazy side note, I don't know if this story interests you folks or not, but back then our boss at the time, Bob Agnew, who was like a bulldog of a boss. He was loud, and I loved him because you always knew where you stood. He was honest. He never played games with anybody. And when Rick Barry was hired as a noon to 3 host at KNBR, right around that same time, a position opened up, and RC and I just gotten out of college, and RC had been there for about a year, and he was like an assistant producer, and I was promoted to assistant producer, but we're both still part time. And this opening presented itself, executive producer of the Rick Barry Show. And there were a lot of people in that building who wanted that job. And RC and I became the finalists. And it was crazy. And again, I don't know if the media is still like this or not, but we were literally put in a competition where I was Rick's executive producer for 1 week. RC was Rick's executive producer for 1 week. And Bob Agnew, our boss, basically made it a competition. And I have no clue what what the barometer was. I don't know if like the judges' scores were just subjective, but I won out. And I became Rick's executive producer, and it led to the relationship that we have today. And you can imagine like a situation like that will cause a little strife. So like RC and I, and again, it was nothing personal, obviously, but it created like a lot of tension for a long time. And point is, that was all in the past. It's just a crazy story. But the happy ending to it is RC got hired by the Warriors soon after that. And he's been there for like 20 plus years now. He does the halftime updates on the radio broadcast, and his halftime updates are reciting scores, right? So he's basically like on there giving a scoreboard update around the association. And that's, to the best of my knowledge, what the halftime presentation is on Warriors broadcast. You also get Tim Roy maybe going into a time machine for a little while, revisiting an interview with someone. There's always like a little bit there. My whole point of this long rant, I apologize, is, Sophia, when you're doing the halftime broadcast, 2 questions for you. 1, where the hell is Kevin Dana? And 2, what is your halftime show encompass exactly?
yeah, I'll answer a third question first. So RC is actually our show producer now as well.
Say hello. Say hello for me, please.
Of course, no,
Yeah.
for sure. But so I give the halftime show, which is we do game update and just kind of top performers, play some highlights from those performers. I'll do my Kaiser Permanente game summary. If I have an interview with one of the players, which I'm able to get when we have a home game and I can go to a practice or shoot around the day before to record. So I'll play that interview. And then that's when we go to and then the next segment is the San Francisco International Airport out of town scoreboard, which is where I'll do some of the scores in the league that are happening that day, or maybe the day before for the only game then. But it's me doing the halftime, and Kevin was beside me last halftime because we wanted to see the mascot reveal, but it's actually very impressive. He will sometimes run all the way to the media room to grab some popcorn.
Yep.
And that's like actually kind of a long walk. So yeah, credit to him for getting that done and being speedy.
It is a long walk.
And he'll be fine with me.
Is.
It is a long walk, and he'll be fine with me saying that.
Oh my God, that's funny. So are you doing the interviews yourself? You're recording those before, do you do those usually before the game, a day before? When does that actually occur?
Either the day before practice or the day of shoot around, which is another reason why I kind of like home games, because we have more practices and shoot arounds as opposed to away games when we don't travel and I don't see the players. So the game before last, my interview was Kyla Charles, who just signed another 7-day for the Valkyries.
Ooh, nice. And by the way, here's if you're watching this on YouTube, here's another clip of Violet the Raven in case you missed it. She's also a dancer. Not every mascot can do the splits. Some can, some are not this athletic. So have you met her? I imagine the identity of this mascot will stay anonymous for good reason, because it's part of the allure, right? The mystery behind the mask, or in this case, the headdress? What do you call that thing you put? Well, have you met the person? Have you met this individual?
I have not. I would love to, though, because I can tell there's a lot of personality in that costume.
Oh yeah.
But, no, it was. I love seeing the mascot reveal. I predicted it a little bit, just with like the egg, and then I was like, oh, I think it might be the mascot reveal. With an egg, it's probably gonna be a bird, and so the Valkyries they chose a raven because in Norse mythology, where the Valkyries get their name of the Valkyries in Norse mythology.
Yeah.
That's a tongue twister. Sorry.
I love this story because I've been wondering, how does a raven correlate with the Valkyries? Continue on. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, so the ravens were essentially seen as helpers to the Valkyries, because the Valkyries would guide fallen soldiers to Valhalla, which is kind of like their heaven. And they go in packs, and they're just kind of, it's like they're tied together. So it made a lot of sense for the Valkyries to choose a raven.
I'm so glad you said
it on the broadcast. Because when I first read our media sheet, and I saw what it was going to be, and I said, I kind of predicted a bird. I wasn't sure how they were going to pull it off, because mascots can creep me out.
All right. That begs the question. Can you name at least one specific mascot that creeps you out?
The coyote for the Spurs. It creeps me out. Its eyes they're
huge. Like
bugging. It's like, I don't know. It's unsettling to me. For some mascots, I don't care for how they can just remain anonymous and do whatever they please. So I'm actually very picky with my mascots, and I thought that seeing the Valkyries design of Vi, they nailed it.
Is the creepiest mascot to you ever the Baby Cakes one from New Orleans? Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Don't.
It's a mascot for some cake or something, and the mascot showed up a few years ago on the Inside the NBA panel. I think it was a broadcast in New Orleans. It's the creepiest thing. Google it and let me know what you think later. But I love the mascot story. Benny, the Bulls mascot, to me is hilarious. I think he's the one that dumps popcorn on fans and is mischievous, right? It is fascinating, the fact that they stay anonymous. You're right. Who the hell are these people?
That's my thing. They can basically get away with whatever they want to do, because they can just, it's like the same premise behind all these figureless people spewing their stuff on the internet, where it's they can maintain that anonymity. It's just crazy to me.
It is.
So that's why
it is.
It is. So that's why I say having a good mascot is a very good trait to have for a team.
Dude, it's great. It's absolutely insane. Pretty much the only person who knows the identity is the owner, or the only few people. It's insanity. A few people in the chat have questions. Armando Lara is asking, and again, the professor from Berkeley, sociology professor, so a very apropos question. What do you think she gets paid? And this leads to the topic of dancers, cheerleaders. I think notoriously are grossly underpaid. I've heard stories of at least NFL cheerleaders getting something like $50 a game, $100 a game, something. I don't know. And then maybe modern times have changed. I haven't done my research on that in years. But any guesses? Do you think? I doubt you know this.
You know what? It's actually crazy, because I definitely saw a posting on LinkedIn for the Valkyries mascot forever ago. So that would have had the price there.
Do you remember what it said?
I can't remember what it said. I can't.
That is interesting. That is very interesting. Wow. So maybe this person just came out of the woodwork as well. We don't know the identity. They might not have come from in-house, but they're entertaining the mascots or the masses. I'm sorry. Yup in the chat is asking, or not asking, but adding an opinion of their own. And I'd love to know, Sophia, if you don't mind elaborating, what is the Fever mascot? Because Yup in the chat is saying the Fever mascot, the Indiana Fever, their mascot looks dumb as F. Your thoughts?
So it's named Freddy Fever. That's
Okay.
the mascot name.
That's weird. Let me look that up. I think the audio. Oh, you have it on your phone. Okay. Do you even know what the story is? Because that is creepy. If we're going to talk about creepy mascots, I get it. Is that creepy to you, or is that more dumb, or neither?
It's just, I don't know, something about the eyes. Like, I don't know, because I grew up not liking clowns. I feel like it derives from that.
I get it.
Not a fan.
I get it. I grew up with I grew up where the concept of clowns, I think, was already dated. I always remember the Seinfeld episode where Jon Favreau plays a clown, and him and George Costanza get into a debate about Bozo the clown, and then Seinfeld has a riff about, like, you don't have Bozo the governor, you don't have Bozo the doctor. I think Bozo is a safe name for a clown. It's a funny bit. Anyways, clowns are creepy as F. The movie It, I think, perfectly encapsulates how scary just the idea of a clown is. I have no idea how clowns associate with children. Even Ronald McDonald is a little creepy to me. So I get it. I'm with you on that.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
They're creepy. They're creepy. Clowns are creepy.
Yeah, no, but that's why I say, like, there was a lot riding on this for the Valkyries, and they nailed it. I am actually so excited to see more of Violet, especially when I think my favorite mascot in sports is Ellie the elephant of the New York Liberty.
Ooh.
And so I get similar energy and like fan interaction and dancing from Violet. So I'm very excited to see more from her.
And she's awesome. And again, she's on social media. If you want to follow her yourself, I think she's on Instagram and Twitter. It's Valkyrie V, correct? Is that the handle?
Valkyries Vi. So like
Vi.
nickname is VI, Violet. Yeah.
Vi. I apologize. Yeah, Valkyries plural Vi. Follow the account. It's entertaining. It's hilarious. I love some of the opinions in the chat regarding mascots. Armando Laura earlier asked how much Violet the Raven gets paid, the person behind the costume. OMG Manny in the chat saying, as reported by the Spun, I don't know what that is, but the Valkyries offered $130 to $160 per hour for the mascot role. Okay, so that's like what, like a 3-hour job, 4-hour job? I wonder how many hours they get to log in. I imagine prep time is included in that. You got to undress afterwards. So like 5-6. That's not bad. That's way better than what I was thinking. I don't know if you agree with that or not. The OMG Man is adding the average NBA mascot salary is $60,000 per year. That's fair. It's not a full-time job. You're off 5 months. Yeah. OMG Man, dude, OMG Man is on fire. Benny the Bull. And again, this makes sense too, because Benny is like a national treasure. I feel like Benny and then Philly I forgot what the Phillies mascot's name is. The one with that huge nose. Those two are national treasures. Maybe the New York Met one is up there as well. Any other mascots you can think of, Sophia?
I'll throw Ellie in there.
And Ellie the elephant.
Ellie, yes.
I love elephants, by the way. They're one of my favorite animals. Benny the Bull makes $400,000 a year. This, according to OMG Manny in our chat. Laura saying, is Pajemski the Warriors mascot at the moment? Considering they only have 9 players on the roster, and Stephen Curry has asked specifically as we play in every Open this summer, leave me alone. Yeah, I think Pajemski, that's a fair bet. We also have some comments. The Philly Fanatic, thank you, Chardal. That's the name of the Philly mascot. That mascot is comedy. Like, I mean, that's a culturally ingrained. You see Philly in movies and whatnot. And then the New York Mets one, it just has that look on its face. What was the movie with Will Ferrell, Blades of Glory, where he's the figure skater? And then There's a mascot in that movie that looks very similar to the Mets mascot, and he gets an arrow shot on the head. I'm going off on mascots. I apologize. Any final thoughts on mascots, Sophia, before we move on from this topic?
No, I'm just so excited to see more of Violet, and hopefully it won't all just be stuff during halftime that I end up missing because I'm doing my halftime show.
OG Manny has apparently done a deep dive into mascot salaries. Apparently, Rocky from Denver, I don't even know what that mascot looks like, is the highest paid at $625,000 a year. Bravo to Rocky for basically being set up for life if you're saving that money appropriately. Crazy stuff. Bloomer Vibes in our chat has some great Valkyries questions. He's actually calling out Natalie Nakase, their head coach, who I revere, and I'd love to get, Sophia, your response to some of this critique in there. Bloomer, look at you, bringing the fire to the show today. But first, let's give some love to our sponsors. They help us, they support us, and we've been needing it this summer. There's not a lot to talk about with the Warriors. So thank you to everyone who supports us financially just by showing up. You just showing up watching us supports us financially. So thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone involved with this operation here. And Decades is a cover band that is, I don't know where they are right now. They're on social media at Decades Official, and they've been traveling the country just playing live shows because that's what they do for a living. They're a cover band. They play everything from the 50s to today, from Chuck Berry to Katy Perry. They're locals. They're from Chico. They're Golden Dazers. That's how they discovered us. And again, we're eternally grateful to them. They're also huge Niner fans. They play every pregame party next door to Levi Stadium at Great America. They call those red zone rallies. And the band for those rallies is Decades. They're awesome. Go check them out. Better yet, book them for your event. We could be talking like a wedding, an anniversary, a birthday. It could be a corporate event. Think of a Prestige Worldwide coming in to save the Catalina wine mixer. That's what Decades can be for you. Email Kyle@atomicmusicgroup.com. Again, Kyle@atomicmusicgroup.com, or just go to decadesofficial.com and mention our program, anything about it. You'll get a discount. Support the program, support Decades, because they are awesome. Thank me later if you book them. They are available for you. Decadesofficial.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram at DecadesOfficial. Today's show also brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of the Believe Network, which Golden Days is a part of. And I'm on the FanDuel sportsbook right now. The next game for the Valkyries is the Washington Mystics. The Valkyries, they play tomorrow. The Valkyries are back on the road. That's a long trip, man. That's completely cross country. The Valkyries are 2-point underdogs. The Mystics are favored by 2. If you want to bet on the money line for the Valkyries, it's plus 116. That's always the direction I advise. If a game is this close or the line is this close between two teams, the OU is 147.5. Sophia, if you don't mind indulging me and the audience, give us your preview of Valkyries Mystics tomorrow and your thoughts on the Valkyries being 2-point underdogs.
For the Mystics, I think a large part of...
You're muted, by the way. I'm kidding. You were not. No, you're I was joking with you. Sorry, but sorry.
No, for the Mystics, I think a large part of that those odds, I think, will depend on the availability of Shakira Austin. She is currently questionable, and she is one of their starters, their starting center. And I think if they have her, they're in a much better slot. But if they don't, it definitely slows down the tempo, and the Mystics lose a lot of their inside presence. Golden State, they were very successful against the Washington Mystics last time. They had a 17-point lead at one point, which definitely dwindled down in the fourth quarter, but they held Washington to only 12 points in the fourth quarter, so their defense ended up reigning true. Janelle Swan ended up having the game-winning basket, and they won that game without Cecilia Zandalicini. So Chechi is not on the injury report as of right now, so having her in that game will be very helpful. And Washington has also lost their starting point guard, and who I think is potentially the head of the snake for the team, Brittany Sykes, when she was traded away. So I think they're still in a bit of an adjustment period. They had some losses. They just beat the Dallas Wings, but the Dallas Wings aren't doing too hot either. So I think the Valkyries,
right? I mean, they have Paige Beckers, but outside of her, and again, it could be the coaching. It could be a lot of things, right? Who knows?
And so this is another important game for the Valkyries because Washington was floating around that 8th seed spot for the majority of the season. They've slipped recently, but they could easily pick it back up. So if the Valkyries win this game, then they officially own the tiebreaker against the Mystics.
Ooh. And we look at the state. First of all, if you're a betting person, and I know you're not, but hypothetically, for the sake of the program, if you were a betting person, which way would you lean with the Valkyries being 2-point underdogs plus 116 money line?
I would lean towards the Valkyries. I think they beat the Mystics in Washington last time. They were without, like I said, Cecilia Zandolini, who they have this game. So I'm feeling pretty confident in the Valkyries, and I think they've gotten a little bit of rhythm throughout this homestand, and they're in that mode where every game, Coach Nakase actually said it herself. She said that every game from now until playoffs is a must-win.
There you go. And that game is tomorrow. And if you're listening to it, every Valkyries game is on the Odyssey app streaming. Every home game is here on local terrestrial radio, 95.7 The Game. When they're on the road, though, regardless of where they are, it's on the Odyssey app. You could tune in, and that's the beauty of modern technology. You don't really need radio to listen to these games in your car. Just have the Odyssey app open, stream the game, and Kevin Dana and Sophia Jones will be making that call. With the action resuming tomorrow, I'm looking at the standings right now. The Valkyries currently in 7th, which is phenomenal when you consider the fact, again, that they lost their star player, their best player earlier this season, and the rest of the team has picked up the slack. They currently have a 16-15 record, a game and a half behind the Aces for 6th. So the Valkyries are currently 7th right now. They hold a half-game lead over the Seattle Storm for 8th. What does the upcoming stretch look like schedule wise? Are there any more long road trips remaining? Is it going to be kind of is travel going to be restricted? Is this the last big road trip they got? What's upcoming for the Valkyries, and what are your thoughts on how you think they'll fare?
Well, one of the best benefits for what the Valkyries schedule is looking like is a lot of home games. And the Valkyries have shown throughout this whole season that they can compete with any team at home. Not too many extremely difficult away games. This away stretch right now is at the Mystics and then at the Sky Wednesday, Friday. So I think those are 2 very winnable games. Again, no long stretches on the road again, like they experienced in July, where they only had 2 home games the entire month. The only thing that makes me maybe a little bit concerned is in September, they played the Liberty and the Lynx twice. So, and they only play 5 games in September. However, the Lynx right now are looking like they will lock down that number 1 seed. And I'm hoping that trend continues because the Valkyries play the Lynx on September 6th and 11th. Those are the 2 of the last 3 games of the regular season. So I hope in that mode, the Lynx will just be in kind of like coasting rest. So I'm hoping that the Lynx will win now. But like I said, I think just having home games in general is going to benefit this team.
I saw the other day, your favorite player, correct me if I'm wrong on that, Asia Wilson, had the first 30-20 in WNBA history, 30 points, 20 rebounds. Damn. Anything you want to add to that? Because that's impressive.
Well, first, I love Asia. I don't think I can say she's my favorite player because 1 through 13 on the Valkyries are my favorite players.
All right, excluding the Valkyries.
Excluding the Valkyries. I think that's still even tough. There are really so many players around the W that because I never had a hometown team to root for, that I kind of adopted them and loved them. But Asia's incredible. Yes. She gave us that work. I will say that. But yeah, first player in WNBA history to have a 30-point, 20 rebound double-double. So Nafisa Collier has been the favorite for MVP pretty much this whole season.
And just sorry to interrupt real fast, but I want to add FanDuel. You could bet on that right now. Nafisa Collier is a minus 370 favorite. Next up is Alyssa Thomas plus 300. So the gap is pretty obvious. Forgive me for the naivety. I am not familiar with Alyssa Thomas's game. I don't even know who she plays for. Please forgive me for that. Does she have a shot? Who is she? Teach me.
She plays for the Phoenix Mercury.
Okay.
And the Mercury, they're in 4th place right now. They were floating around that 2nd place for a minute. So they're a very, very good team. I expect them to make a deep playoff run. But Alyssa Thomas, she's incredible. She can genuinely have like a triple-double on any given night as a forward. So she's very big body. Yeah. So it's not even her scoring that makes the team go. Exactly like Bruce Morrow said, she's a triple-double queen. She will just like on a random Tuesday night be able to have like a 15, 15, and 10 game. Ooh. She's incredible. But I think it's just the fact that the Minnesota Lynx are the #1 team in the league right now, and Nafisa Collier, best player on the best team. And she's incredible. Leading scorer in the league, one of the leading shot blockers, one of the leaders in steals, field goal percentage. She does it all. I love her.
Absolutely right. And I've been noticing the Phoenix Mercury in the standings far higher than I expected them to be. So that makes a lot of sense for why, in this instance, Alyssa Thomas is second in the MVP race. But I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, that this is Nafisa Collier's award to lose at this point. She just has to keep doing what she's doing, and she's going to earn her first MVP. Correct, her first? This would be if she won? Okay. I want to go back real fast because I mentioned in the chat, and Chardal showing a lot of love to us today. Thank you so much. Even dropping a $1.99 donation, just saying, go Valkyries, #beat Washington. Yeah, they play the Mystics tomorrow. And again, Sophia Jones on the call with Kevin Dana on the Odyssey streaming app. If you want to go check that out, especially if you're driving or just try and sync it up with your TV broadcast. Either way. But in the chat, Bloomer Vibes had some comments. We're going to get to those now. I teased those earlier. Having some critique for head coach Natalie Nakase, who I think is in the running for coach of the year. Incredible accomplishment. What she has done in an expansion year season, year one of an organization, to do what they're doing right now, far exceeding expectations. Bloomer Vibes in the chat writing, quote, not trying to criticize the head coach of the Valkyries, but last night's game was great. Just don't overuse your starters and let some of the bench play when you're up 20 plus. A couple other comments to add to that. It's Nakase's first year as the head coach for the Valkyries, so she gets a pass, but Kerr has to learn from past mistakes. I don't get that part of it. And then adding, I hope Nakase won't pull a Kerr moment, as in letting your main players play the majority of the game. I get the gist here. What he's trying to say basically is that he doesn't want the head coach to run the best players into the ground. You overplay them, you increase the risk of injury, strength in numbers, right? Sophia, what are your thoughts on Bloomer's comments there?
I'll say for last game, I'll highlight 3 starters in specific. The first one, Veronica Burton, who I think should be the favorite for most improved player. She had another 10 assist game, 10 assists and 1 turnover, I might add. So she's one of the league leaders in assist to turnover ratio. And so I think that Coach Nakase sees how much Veronica has been able to do, and she leaves her in. The next player was Cecilia Zandalazini, who was 1 3-pointer away from tying her career high in threes made and from having a career high in points as well. And then Janelle Salon, who also had a career high in threes made, albeit she is a rookie, but she had a career high in threes made. And I've always been a fan too of when there was an offensive barrage like there was in the second half of that Valkyries game. Sometimes you just want to roll with it. And especially the Valkyries struggled to kind of get a little bit of offensive rhythm in a lot of these recent games, especially against the Aces, even against the Sparks. They weren't able to generate as much as they had previously in the season. So I think when you have that type of momentum, you want to roll with it. You want to allow the players to really just kind of shoot themselves into oblivion. Honestly, I was hoping before Cecilia Zendelatini got pulled, I was hoping that she would just start jacking threes personally.
I have again, your ability to repeatedly and accurately pronounce her name is damn impressive. It's okay if I just go with Chechi, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Okay. Just like if you folks want to call me Sai, that's perfectly fine too, because I will never expect anyone to be able to properly remember and pronunciate my last name, one of the craziest last names on the planet. I get it. So we'll go with Chechi on that one. Bravo for the accurate enunciations there. A few chats in the WNBA front before we move on and talk Warriors, because there's a few things. One very specific thing to talk about, but it is new and it is interesting, and I think it symbolizes just the endless chaos that has been the Warriors offseason. I'll explain what I mean in just a minute, but OMG Manning, it's Manny, I'm sorry, who's been on fire today with mascots. Going back to that topic real fast, saying, Sophia, what do you think about the Orlando Magic mascot? I don't know who that is. Sophia, you have some Florida roots. Are you familiar with that as I look it up?
I'm trying to look it up too. You know, I'll wait for you if you're. Are you going to share your screen?
What, sorry?
I don't know what it looks like.
All right, I'm Googling it right now because I'm curious. What the all right, so it's
is it the one with like a basketball nose? I feel like it's like blue. Oh, that's one that Aaron Gordon dumped.
Look, I'm just going to share my screen. Okay,
it's like
here's my screen just from a Google search, so you can see why I immediately reacted the way I did. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening to the podcast, forgive us please for any moments where you feel like you're missing out. Stuff the Magic Dragon is the Orlando Magic's official mascot. Where did this come from? I've never heard of this. This is like literally like the mascot for the Magic. Does that scare you, Sophia? Because that would scare the ever living crap out of me.
I'm not a fan of the nostrils.
Here, let me here we go. There we go. So what are those straws coming out of the nostrils? Like what's going on?
Like they almost look like the birthday, like the kazoos where you like blow it and it like rolls itself out. I don't know. See, like I don't get that one. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe there's an explanation.
Where is this on the creepy scale to you?
Middle. Okay. It's not too bad, but I definitely wouldn't want to linger around it too long.
Good call, OMG Manny, on that. That is that's crazy. Our Jonesy's adding Ellie the Elephant and Blue from the Colts are the best mascots. We discussed Ellie the Elephant a moment ago. Blue from the Colts. Let me look that up real fast, because do you know what that is?
No.
All right, let's see what Blue, the Colts mascot. And again, if you're listening to the podcast, the Orlando Magic's mascot, I don't know how you can properly describe that. It has yellow straws coming out of its nose. I forgot how you described that, Sophia. It's got 2 yellow stars. It's a green furry dragon with pink hair and has straws coming out of its nose. It's insane. Google it and you'll understand. Let's look up the anything else to add to the description there, Sophia. You're a pro broadcaster.
No, I feel like Stuff is a very on brand name for what it looks like. At least.
Here is the Colts mascot, Blue. And
see, that at least makes a little bit more sense, you know.
How so?
Like it's a colt. It's a horse. Because a colt.
Oh, is that what that is? I didn't even know it was a horse. Okay. I'm trying to get a better picture here.
That at least makes a little bit more sense. I don't know. It's the eyes. It is.
That's clownish, right?
It is. I don't know.
And that has those straw things coming out of the nose too.
It does. It's like, I think that, like I said, it's like the birthday kazoos. I don't know.
It's a
if
what
that's the
again? I'm
proper
sorry.
term. Like the birthday kazoos where you like, it's
Oh,
like
yes.
you like blow on it and like shoots out.
And it's got like candy cane fingers or Jesus. Like who comes up with this? This is like out of a horror film. Like
Like
that, this could be
I can't stare it into its eyes for too long. Like
like who's coming up with this stuff? Like you could literally create nightmares for children with a mascot like that. Who like fascinating imagination in the minds of people who literally create a costume from what I imagine is originally an artist conception, and then you make the costume after that. Fascinating stuff. I'm riveted. Bruce Morrow in the chat saying, going back to the the Dallas Wings, saying that Paige Beckers and Enrique, I don't know who she is, I'm sorry, is like Monte and Steph, where they're very similar. They play the same position basically, and they have to be separated. Would you agree with that sentiment, Sophia, if you are familiar with the Wings enough to answer that?
yeah, so Enrique Gumbawale and Paige Beckers. I think there is a world that they can work together. I do. Paige doesn't need the ball in her hands all the time. I do think that offenses run much better when it is in her hands, though. She can rack up assists for sure. As for Enrique is kind of one of those, you put her on an island and a shot clock and she will get you a bucket.
Okay.
So I definitely think that there's a world where they can be on the same team and coexist. I just think that because both of those players on every team that they've been on, probably for their entire life, it's been their team and they've been the ball dominant people. It's just kind of one of those things that you have to work through a little bit.
There you go. And again, Paige Beckers is so fun to watch. What's the name of the player again? Josite, the player that the Valkyries drafted this year.
Yeah, Yochite.
You say Josite. I get you're really improving as a broadcaster. Respect. What do you again? I know it's been a few months, and who knows if you've learned anything new over that time since they drafted her. But she is currently, I believe, playing in Lithuania. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. The earliest anticipated arrival for Josite is next season. I have no clue. Any news you could provide about the Valkyries' first pick ever, and whether or not she can be someone that fans look at the way I do about Paige Beckers, where you're just kind of riveted, where you're just kind of hooked in watching great basketball.
Yeah, so she opted to stay and play for the Lithuanian national team for Eurobasket this year. And she has a ton of upside. She is 19 years old. Ooh, sorry.
What was that?
It was my watch banging. Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
She's 19 years old, 6 foot, like a legit 6 foot. Handles like a guard. She's basically a guard. And she's another one of those players where she has a very complete game for how young she is. So I think that she has a tremendous upside, and Golden State will be a great place for her.
I can't. Is she going to play? Is she going to be here next year, or any news?
Right now, it's reported that it's the Valkyries still hold the rights to her. I would anticipate that she joins the team next year because there's no Eurobasket or international competition. So, yeah, it would be really fun to see her in the league, especially also talking about Dominique Malonga, the 19-year-old out of France that plays for the Seattle Storm. She just had back-to-back 20-point, 10-rebound games.
Wow.
As a 19-year-old. So she's going to be good. I'm still waiting for her to dunk in a game because she does it with ease in drills, but she will be extremely good.
That's the player who in early mock drafts we were seeing falling to the Valkyries before I think these other teams wisened up and they were like, wait a second, no, we're not gonna Seattle, I think, had the number 2 pick, who they got in a trade, by the way, this previous offseason, and they secured a potential superstar, I think, with that individual. Armando Lara is asking, as we wrap up the WNBA section, we got a lot to talk about with Warriors. Not a lot, but interesting, certainly, stuff. Is asking, is free agency a big thing in the WNBA? And I don't know if that's a good. I don't know if now is a good time to answer that, because we might not even have free agency. There might be a lockout. Anything you've heard about this upcoming offseason, because it could be very dramatic, correct? It could also be obviously nothing. But what are you hearing? Your thoughts on this pending offseason, and is free agency a big thing in the WNBA? I'm fascinated.
I would definitely say that it's a big thing. Where I've seen some really kind of blockbuster moves before. I just think that with the current CBA negotiations that the WNBA is going through, the players are really pushing to get a larger percentage of total revenue. They're looking for prioritization so that players aren't as enticed to feel the need to go overseas and essentially not have an off season. So there are a lot of things that need to be worked out in the CBA that the players are sticking to, because they realize that now is the time to strike with the recent growth of the league. But the commissioner right now, Kathy Engelbert, from reports and from the players themselves, they don't seem too happy from what they've received in those negotiations. So that's why I know you mentioned the lockout. There could potentially be one, or
whatever the proper vernacular is. Yeah.
But I think that if something is able to be worked out, then this free agency will be huge, because a lot of players had their contracts expiring for this year, for this offseason, in anticipation that they'll be able to get paid more, with hopefully getting a larger percentage of the total revenue. And like Armando says, I definitely think that the Valkyries should be a top destination, honestly, for a lot of people. I think the home environment is the best in the league, and they have some of the best resources in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And we're bringing in a lot of money. That's enticing enough. If you can get paid more here, why not?
And the Valkyries, to me, are a friendly reminder of just how hoop-centric the Bay Area is. We love our basketball. Friendly reminder, in case you're not familiar with this, the Sacramento Kings exist because there were so many Warrior fans extending out to the Sacramento area that the then Kansas City Kings, I think that's where they came from, were like, why are we not there? People love basketball in Northern California. So all these Kings fans that hate the Warriors, their lineage is Warriors fandom. That's how much we love our hoops. The Warriors themselves, for nearly 4 decades of utter mediocrity, pure irrelevancy, was still selling out Roracle Arena. We love our hoops here. It's an awesome, fantastic part of the Bay Area, in my humble opinion. So yeah, and hopefully that translates to free agency for the Valkyries. Great stuff there, and I'm looking forward to many more with the WNBA. They deserve to get paid a lot more than what they're making now. I don't know if anyone's still pushing back on that. Hopefully their checks improve. They deserve it. Anything else on the WNBA front that we missed, Sophia, before I switch it to Warriors?
Nope. I would just say for the Valkyries, the situation to monitor is that Kate Martin kind of took a fall in yesterday's game and is now questionable for tomorrow with a back injury. Ooh, so hoping that she will not only be available, but she will be healthy, and that kind of all gets worked through.
And that plays back to Bloomer Vibe's point earlier about managing minutes and not pushing players too hard to get hurt. So let's hope Kate Martin is okay. She survived past the trade deadline, correct? So she's going to be a Valkyries player throughout the rest of the season. That's good stuff. Switching gears over to the Warriors, because there is not a lot to talk about when it comes to the Warriors, except for Jonathan.
Again?
Yeah, again. What I wanted to talk about today, and again, this just represents the lunacy of all this. Danny Emmerman, who recently was a guest of the show, love the kid, side note. And I hope I don't mean any disrespect saying kid. That's not something I mean when I say that. He's just, I'm getting older. So when I see someone who's still in, let's say, their 20s, I call him a kid. Doesn't mean I look at them any less. Please don't ever misinterpret that as a sign of disrespect. Danny Emmerman, great journalist. He's a beat reporter covering the Golden State Warriors for the San Francisco Standard. He reported, I don't know if this was today or yesterday, that the Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga's camp have not communicated in 2 weeks approximately, right? That, in other words, there has been no movement with negotiations. They're at a standstill. And if what Anthony Slater is reporting is true, the Warriors have a standing 2-year, $45 million offer with caveats. And this is a part of the reason why this whole thing is hung up. The Warriors are not just offering a flat out 2-year, $45 million deal. They also want the inherent no trade clause that would be included with that deal as part of the CBA to be revoked so that Kuminga does not have that right. And they want the second year to be a team option, whereas Kuminga's side would be okay, reportedly, with a player option. At least that's their preference. Kuminga's side, meanwhile, wants 3 years, 80-something million. We've gone over the amounts and how, you have one side arguing Kuminga should just be grateful, for the money, for being part of the Warriors. In other words, you have one side saying, shut up and play, and that's a lot of money they're throwing it your way. And then you have the other side going, look, the moment you compare what Kuminga's making to other players in a similar category, in this case being fellow 2021 draft picks, the Warriors are drastically lowballing them. I mean, what they're offering to Kuminga is far less than what Kuminga's other draft classmates in the top 10, Donovan Mitchell and Zaire Williams at the very bottom, notwithstanding. And he wants to get paid appropriately, or at least treated appropriately. And so we're in this position right now where there's a standoff. Now, what makes Danny Emmerman's report interesting, the reason why I bring that up, is because I learned somewhat recently, this was a fairly new revelation for me, that Jimmy Butler, another Golden State Warriors star player, has a best friend who travels everywhere with him. I don't know his full name. I just know his first name, I think, is Ernie. And he's on Twitter. I don't know what other platforms he's on. He might be on other places, but on Twitter, his handle is Ernie the Man. And because he's Jimmy Butler's best friend, he hears a few things, and he's in the loop for a lot of things. Again, fascinating to me, at least. And I'm going to share my screen to show you what he wrote on his Twitter account, just to give you folks some idea of again, just the endless mixed messaging, the endless possible misinformation. Who knows what's going on anymore? I don't think anything can be believed anymore. So Ernie, Jimmy Butler's friend, wrote in response to Danny Emmerman's report that the two sides, the Warriors and Kuminga's camp, Danny Emmerman reported they haven't spoken in weeks. Ernie, I wish I knew his last name, and maybe someone in the chat can enlighten us, went on Twitter and wrote, quote, "This isn't true. There has to be a way to hold these journalists," and he put that in quotes, "accountable for making stuff up. X/Twitter allows anyone and everyone to just come on here, be wrong, and then go about their day like nothing happened. We need to have a strikeout rule or something," unquote. In other words, he's refuting Danny Emmerman's report that they have not communicated Kuminga's camp and the Warriors in weeks. And again, this goes back to the fact that all of this stuff is crazy. I think you said it best a week ago, Sophia. I wish we were just talking X's and O's. I wish we were just talking hoops. But instead, we're talking about basketball organizations and players and what they're haggling over in terms of money. The Warriors have 9 players currently on their roster. Anthony Slater is reporting that Al Horford, that the team is moving forward with the belief that Al Horford is expected to be on the roster, and then adds, in I believe the same sentence, he may also still retire. So this whole thing is crazy. Basically, I think the message here is don't believe a thing until we know what actually is certain. And the holdout continues, and it is now August 12th. Any thoughts on that, Sophia? And if you don't, I respect that.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not even sure what to believe anymore. I feel like the only thing that will actually solidify it will be a post by the Golden State Warriors saying, "Welcome back, Kuminga," or "Thank you, Kuminga." I don't even know if whatever Shams might report is actually completely accurate because there seems to be so much muddled waters right now.
It's crazy. And I mean, I don't know if you folks are spending time on social media. There's like fight, like literally Warriors fans want to fight each other. I had someone on Twitter today, some stranger, just randomly out of the blue because I went on Twitter and said that I think Kuminga is getting lowballed, and I believe that strongly when you look at how much his peers are making. Someone wished death on my parents. Thank you for that. That's very professional and classy. That's how low this is getting. People are irate. The Warriors released their opening night schedule, their Christmas Day schedule. A full schedule is coming out soon, and they only have 9 players on their roster right now. Everyone's frustrated. I don't know anyone who's a Warriors fan who's happy right now. If you don't know a thing that's going on, if you stay off social media, that is where ignorance is bliss is an adage that rings very true, because I don't think you want to know what's going on right now. You'd probably have much more peace of mind. It's lame. It really is. And that's it. Anything to add? Or I think that is, I don't know what else to add. Did anybody figure out Ernie's full name, by the way? I'm trying to find that if anything's there. I don't think so. And Armando Laura, by the way, yes, when FanDuel let me look that up real fast, because Armando Laura in the chat is saying that when the over-unders are released for NBA futures, he's going to bet the under on the Warriors. That is not available yet. What is available, courtesy of the FanDuel Sportsbook, is the Warriors on opening night are 3.5-point underdogs at crypto playing the Lakers, who also have their own drama there. But no bets yet for futures in terms of, hold on a second. What is this? Regular season wins? Hold on a second here. Let me see if the Warriors are in this. I think the FanDuel Sportsbook has the OU for wins. Sophia, would you mind guessing what you think? This is out. Would you mind guessing what you think the Warriors over-under is on wins next season? Because incredibly, that may be available. I haven't found it yet, but I see OU's listed. What's your guess?
Are we going based off of the current roster?
Yes, 9 people. Yes. There is a figure. It's not specific. Okay, I'll make it easier for you. Right now, FanDuel does not have exact numbers. They're going in groups of 5. So you can bet on 30 or more wins, 35 or more wins, 40 or more wins. You get the trend. Where would you group the Warriors in a 5-win category?
Because I'm not a bettor and I'm not really sure how this works, I think I want to do what the safest option is and which one I think will occur the most. I'm gonna go in that 35 plus win range.
All right, 35.
Because I think I've said maybe 40 wins, honestly.
Well, you got to pick. 30, those are two different ones. Which one would you bet on?
35 plus.
35? Is that the grouping?
Yeah.
Well, 49er Red Zone saying 39.5, so that would put you in the 35 plus. And then says 40. So I think he's torn like you are, either 35 or 40. Yeah. OMG Manny dropping $1.99 donation. Thank you very much, Manny. Saying that I just think that Kerr diminished Kuminga's value. Yeah, I agree with you there. TG says 46. So he's going 45 plus. Armando Laura is adding that this season's going to be much watch. Popcorn's ready. Yeah, the drama will be filled. And as exhausting as it is to cover this, it is going to be fun. It is going to be entertaining, no doubt. But fun is, no, I don't think it's the right word. Entertaining is the right word, because drama is entertaining. Armando Laura, again, you got to come back on the show soon. We'll set that up, saying that Warriors fans are split, just like the Warriors front office and coach. The answer, according to FanDuel, you can bet on the Warriors right now to win 40 or more games. So they are in the 40 to 44 camp right now for the Golden State Warriors. That's a tough one. I don't have an opinion yet in terms of betting the over-under because, again, they only have 9 players on the roster. I have no clue.
I know. I said, if I could give, a straight number of games, I was going to say, 40.
Yeah. That's where they're at. Yeah, that's where they're at. They're at 40 plus. So I would not advise putting money down on that at this point, unless you feel really strongly, then more power to you. But SGA, Chardal saying 40 and 42. Chardal, by the way, Sophia, before I let you go, I think we talked about this before, but Chardal brought up, and he directed this towards you, that he has a baby kitten now. He named it Buster after Buster Posey, the former Giants catcher, now the current, I believe, GM president. Congratulations. Your kitty is 12 weeks old. That's what, about 3 months. And Sophia, you brought up the fact that your family lost Rasta. Was that your puppy's name? Yeah. Rest in peace, Rasta. I know your dad and I reached out. He sent me a picture. That was a beautiful dog. Gorgeous dog.
Handsome puppy.
What's your thought on cats?
Thumbs down. Extremely allergic. Like I'm so serious. I go into a room, if I don't even need to like touch the cat, but if I've been in a room that a cat has been in, like my eyes get watery, my nose gets runny, like my throat closes and itches. Like I am so allergic to cats. That's like double thumbs down for me.
You're allergic. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, again, each their own for sure. Some kittens are cute, but like I can't come in contact with one.
It's and Arundel Laura, by the way, loves the under. Write it down. I used to not be a cat person. Like we had a family cat when I was young, and it was one of those cats you just kind of let it do whatever it wants. It could come in, come out. You know, it would disappear for like days at a time. But it wasn't. We never really had a close relationship with that cat. It kind of did his own thing. And so I'm a dog person, right? And for me, cats are like, they're independent. They don't really have a familial bond with their parents typically. At least this was the impression I had in my head. And then I had a pet cat who was more a dog than a cat. I didn't realize dog cats existed. What I mean by that is cats who they behave like dogs. They actually obey. They're you know they're good snugglers. They have that kind of. If you're a dog, if you have owned a dog, maybe this makes sense. Or if you've owned a dog cat, that makes sense. My point is, cats are cool with me now. After that experience, and Chardal is offended. Get over it. You'll be okay. She's allergic to the cat, buddy.
I said to each their own. You know.
And I had a tuxedo cat. That's exactly the cat I had. Was a tuxedo cat.
To each their own. If that floats your boat, then cool.
Don't let Chardal ruffle your feathers. It's okay. Look. And Sophia, I'm guessing if you had, I don't know, again, if you've never seen the Austin Powers movies, there's 3 of them. That is something you and your boyfriend need to do immediately, because there are a million cultural references from those 3 movies that you may be hearing regularly, and they're just going over your head because you've never seen those films. Dr. Evil's cat in those movies is one of those hairless ones. And I wonder if that is how you could survive being around a cat, as if it was hairless, because I think that's
where I say, like, I don't know what it is about cats. It's just like I can go into a room that one has been in, even if it's not there, and just get really like have an allergic reaction.
I guess the Dr. Evil cat, according to Kev F, would not work with you either. Kev F saying, fun fact, it's the cat saliva that people are allergic to when they clean themselves. Yeah, then there you go. No cats for you. And that's okay. Dogs are amazing, as you're well aware of.
I'm actually kind of allergic to dogs too, but I just deal with it. Yeah, like my dog, I wouldn't really like my dog like lick me too much, or I can't like cuddle my dog because my skin would get rashy. But he was so cute, so I dealt with it. I'm not willing to deal with it for cats, and my allergic reaction is much more severe.
There you go. And again, I hope your dad, especially, I'm sure your mom is heartbroken as well, but and your sister. I hope your family's okay. It took me about a year before I was ready to get a new dog. It's traumatizing. It is a traumatizing experience. It's awful. It's like your best friend of the whole world is suddenly gone, and there's nothing you can do. It sucks. So I hope your family's okay. And I hope Warriors fans, aka Dub Nation, I hope you're okay. This has not been an easy summer. This is like I honestly don't have a comp to this. Like, I think Chris Webber, the year following Chris Webber's first year might be the closest thing I could think of, because you kind of could see the writing on the wall that offseason that Webber was going to leave, and you were heartbroken, but you didn't know for sure what was going to happen. it's not the same as this. They're very different, but I can't think of another comparable situation. This is wild. And we have 4 of these restricted free agents just sitting out there. There's no end in sight. Marron. So there you go. 49ers red zone ending on this note. Catfish are the best fish. All right, there you go.
That's what I can get behind. I love some fried catfish. Like I said, my boyfriend, he's from New Orleans, so I love some good fried catfish.
One of the greatest cities in the world, in my opinion. I love New Orleans. It's a magical place. Just stay away from Bourbon. That's such a touristy spot. The moment you escape Bourbon Street, New Orleans is amazing. Bourbon's fun too, but I mean, if you want to avoid all that madness. Are we done? Is that it?
I think so.
Anything you got coming up? Anything you want to promote? People can listen to you tomorrow. Valkyries and Mystics. What time is tip off?
4:30 Pacific time.
There you go. And you can listen to Sophia Jones. You can follow her on Twitter at SophiaJones_2 and catch her and Kevin Dana for every Valkyries broadcast. Upcoming on this program, I don't know if you folks are familiar with Swish Culture. We're going to keep his identity anonymous. He prefers that, and I respect it. He's got a phenomenal YouTube channel, and I talked to him today. He's going to come on the show. We're figuring out the time and date. I think a lot of people will be interested in that show. The Matt Barnes thing, it will happen at some point. Every time I think I can proudly announce it, something gets delayed. Hopefully we'll get Matt Barnes on the show soon. Sleepy Floyd will be on the show very soon. My childhood basketball hero, who still holds the record for most points scored in a postseason quarter and halftime. And this was back in 87. Still holds. He scored 29 fourth quarter points, 39 second half points against the LA Lakers. I'll never forget Michael Cooper's face when I interviewed him a few years ago and brought that up because Michael Cooper, one of the greatest defenders ever in NBA history, was the recipient of that 39-point half and 29-point fourth quarter, which prevented the Lakers from sweeping the Warriors in the 87 Western Conference semifinals. This was George Karl's team, Joe Barry Carroll, Teagle, Terry Teagle. I'm trying to think who else was on that team. Was Larry Smith on that team? Anyways, Sleepy Floyd, I don't know if you've seen this movie or heard of it. I think it's called Freaky Tales. It has the guy who what's the actor's name? He's in Pedro Pascal. He stars in it. And the movie is based on Sleepy Floyd's character. And I think it just came out on HBO. What is it called? Freaky Tales? Let me look that up real fast before we go. Hold on, because I want to get that right. I want to promote it proper. Anyway, Sleepy's going to come on the show soon. I love him. He's an incredibly good dude. Yeah, it's called Freaky Tales. Here's let me pull up the movie poster so you folks can see what I'm talking about here. And they didn't do a lot of press for this. And I don't know why. Like the movie just it wasn't in theaters. It went like straight to on demand, and then recently it became available on HBO. And the movie is set in the 80s here in Oakland. And again, you can see the actor Jay Ellis, I believe, is the one who's playing Sleepy Floyd in this. Pedro Pascal's in this. I didn't realize Tom Hanks is in this. So I'm going to bring Sleepy on the show soon to talk about this and so much more. So that's just some of the stuff coming up on the program. Oh, and last but not least, and this is only take a second. I'll do a live show soon too, where I'm solo. Because I noticed a few people in the chat were saying if they could come on the show today. We save that for the solo shows. We'll do that very soon. I promise. This will be this week. I will publish that on Twitter and my thread, so you can follow along there and know when to show up. I'll bring you folks on. I promise. And 49ers Red Zone saying that the Freaky Tales was too short, or are you mentioning the artist too short as having Oakland ties? Chardal. Save the cat for when I bring you on, okay? And then I want you to show the cat then. So we'll do it. We'll save that for later this week. Otherwise, I think that's it, right, Sophia? Are we done?
I think so.
Anything else you want to promote before we go? You
Just
good?
for people to make sure they're tuning into the Valkyries.
There you go. And on the Odyssey app, download that, please, so you can listen to Kevin Dana and Sophia Jones on the call for your Golden State Valkyries, who are fighting for the playoffs. 7th in the standings, a game above 500. Incredible success for them in year one. That's it. We'll be back soon. Sophia, great job. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.